Welcome to the Digital Loctician Podcast, a place for you to feel seen, heard, and empowered along your lock journey. I'm your host and digital loctician, Jocelyn Renee. Peace, family. Welcome to another episode. I am so grateful for your presence and excited for our conversation tonight. I do want to invite you to also join the conversation if you are watching live on YouTube in the live chat below the video. Definitely, as I ask questions to explore the lock journey of our guest today, share your experience in the comments because you never know who may be reading your comment and maybe needing your experience, your words, your wisdom to help them through their journey. I also want to shout out Crown Elements, which is our hair care line specifically formulated for locks. Of course, the sponsor for the podcast. So if you're looking for any products not any products, some quality premium hair care products for your locks, make sure you head over to crownelements.com. And without further ado, I would like to bring on our guests for today, Miss Deborah and Jasmine. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Jocelyn. Hey.
I'm so excited. Always excited for our conversations, but especially excited. Miss Deborah just completed our holistic lactation training program. So it's like, I get to see you again. So ladies, I would like to first get started and ask you if you could share where you're located, how long you've had your locks, and maybe just like one word that you would use to describe your lock journey. Deborah, you can go first.
Okay. So I'm in the Windy City, the greatest city ever, Chicago. Yay. And I have been telling people that I've been having locks for 7 years. And about a couple of weeks ago, pictures come up sometimes on your phone from way back when, and a picture came up in 2015, and I had my babies in 2015. So wow. It's been 8 years.
8 years. Okay, you've been in it for a minute.
For a minute. And if I could define my lock journey, it would be uninformative.
I
had no clue what I was doing when I got in it.
I'm sure a lot of us have had that experience. So glad that we're going to be here exploring that. Jasmine, how about you? Where are you at?
So, like Deborah, I'm from Chicago.
Chicago in the house.
Truly, okay.
Yes. And if I could give one word to describe my lock journey, I would say it was pretty deep. A lot of self-discovery in it.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been locking, Jasmine?
I have been locked for 7 years in March.
Oh, wow. So we're 7, 8. I think I'm 7. I'm 7 too. 7, 7, and 8. There we go.
Yeah.
So right around the same age with our lock journey. So Deborah, first with you feeling like your journey is it's been uninformative. When did you become aware of the lack of information? Like, would you just jump in?
Okay, so in the beginning, my first couple of years, I thought I knew what I knew. So I just went along on the journey. Yeah. But the pandemic, that's when I realized I didn't know anything because couldn't go get retwists, couldn't, do anything. And so I didn't know what to do. My locks were all marrying and loving each other and growing together. And I had no idea what to do with them. I wasn't retwisting myself. So that is when I realized I really didn't know. But there was Jocelyn Renee. I found you, girl. I think I found you probably the end of 20 or maybe 2021. And that's when I began to be really, really knowledgeable about what was going on.
I love that you went seeking information because sometimes you could just feel like, I don't know what to do and then just stay stuck. So it's good that you started to explore information. With the journey of locks? Like there's so much because it's so broad, and then a lot of things are not standardized. I'm sure you discovered in your research experience.
Absolutely. So many different people telling you so many different things about what you should or should not be doing. And I tried a lot of different things, but I there was the best thing I found was you, really, to be honest. And I'm not just saying that, but that's real talk.
Well,
When I
I
found
appreciate
you,
that.
I was able to really start to have the type of locks that I wanted.
I love that. And that's why I started making content, making videos. Jasmine, with your journey, right, 7 years in, and you feel like there was a lot of self discovery. Where would you feel like you started in your journey? Like, how did you? What made you lock your hair?
I had just went natural. Well, I cut all my hair off 6 weeks before. No, six
You got
months. I'm
locks?
sorry,
Oh, six
before.
months before. Okay.
And my coworkers would always be like, "Oh, just like just like it." And I knew they were just playing, but I was like, "Let me see." And I went on Pinterest and looked, and it was so many just beautiful women with all these beautiful styles. Because
Mhm.
at first, I didn't really see any people in my age range with locks like that. All of the women were like older that had locks.
Oh wow.
So I was like, okay. I'm like, well, I'll just try it. I'll just do it. I was like, I already cut my hair off. What I got to lose?
Yeah. So that is very inspiring. Like you just wanted to give it a try and try to see like what'll happen. And then like this is the set of locks that you started and you've kept it ever since that time you put them in.
Yes, and me and my locks, we have been through some things, but this is the same locks.
Yes, yeah. So you said you went on Pinterest to get your inspiration. Why not Instagram? Or what were you saying on? Are you on Instagram? Like, I feel like when I think of photos, I don't immediately go to Pinterest, although Pinterest is like a board of photos. But
Mhm.
what was it about the Pinterest versus an Instagram?
Um, at the time I was on Instagram, it
Yeah.
just didn't hit me to go there because I was already on Pinterest for like um food ideas
Mhm.
and
Right.
stuff like that. So I just immediately went there first.
Okay. So I would like to like get into that, like the social media, the ways in which social media impacts the journey, because social media for you was the catalyst to get you to start your lock journey. Deborah, do you feel like social media had an impact on you starting your journey?
Pinterest. Yeah,
Pinterest? Okay.
definitely. Because I used to look up other things on Pinterest. And then I started to see, like Jasmine did, a lot of beautiful women with beautiful hairstyles and just different locks. And then that's also where I found you. You were under another name at that time, but
Curly New
that's
Growth.
where that's where I found your podcast, and your information was on Pinterest. So yeah, that was eye opening for me. That sealed the deal for me.
Just being able to see it. So that's that representation matters, especially when it comes to locks. Would you say like there was any point where social media helped you overcome a challenge with your lock journey at all, Jasmine? Would you say like it got you to start it, but was there anything in the journey that made you like, oh my gosh, let me go to social media for this?
Yeah, it would just be finding inspiration, especially for styles where you didn't need a retwist. Because
Mm-hmm.
like around you, you're constantly hearing like you got to keep your locks done. You got to make sure you keep it neat, and it's like sometimes you need to wash your hair and you may not be able to retwist it, and so going on YouTube and even on Instagram and just looking up lock styles with no retwists. Like that really helped.
Mhm.
Yeah. And back in my day, when I feel like YouTube was just kind of getting started, there was not much out here. Like there was not a lot when it came to locks. Like if you go back and look at all the lock content from like 2006, 2009, it was nothing. Or they were telling you to put beeswax. So it has
Yes.
changed. The evolution has changed so much. But for me, I'm honestly somebody like I tell you to unfollow all the pages about locks when you start your journey because of I feel like the comparison that it puts the comparison that it puts into your mind. Do you find yourself, Deborah, like following lock pages or
I
lock
did.
content often?
I
Okay.
did. And still, until I got, really started following you. But I did. And it was so confusing because, different persons would say you should do this, and I would try it. And it wouldn't necessarily work out for me, and then I tried something else and it was like this crazy, circle you going in trying to know how to actually care for your locks. And a lot of it, like I said, it didn't work for me.
Yeah. Could you think of like one concoction or technique
Oh
or something
yeah,
that
I
you tried?
definitely can.
What you do?
I heard that we're supposed to detox our locks, right?
Mm-hmm.
With baking soda and
Don't make me
I
turn
know
my
how you
camera
feel
off.
about that. I did it one time and it was unsuccessful. I saw nothing. It didn't benefit me one bit. And I was like, I'm not going to do this because what's the purpose?
Yeah.
And then I found out that I didn't have the right ingredients in the first darn place. So, yeah.
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 When you did that detox, like how did your locks feel after? Like what was the impact of that trial situation?
Dry, dry as the Sahara Desert.
Dry, so dry, y'all. Please stay away from this baking soda, apple cider vinegar, and these
Okay.
detoxes, okay? Please, please. Like that's one thing I swear the internet be lying to people when it comes to these detoxes. But
Yeah.
I
And
digress.
it doesn't help when your loctician is doing that as well. So
Okay. This is why we have the holistic loctician training program. Okay. That
I
is
know that's
one
why
of the
I got
reasons.
in it.
Yes, that is one of the reasons why. Because a lot of times it's like if you see it so much, because I swear the whole internet tells you to do it. It's like, okay, if one person says do it, 20 people say do it, this must be the way to do it. And it's just like, no, I got to be the voice of reason here. We're not doing this. What about you, Jasmine? Have you tried anything from the internet that was good, bad?
I've tried to use conditioner in my locks, and that went bad. I wound up with like a bad buildup, especially the back row. And it was like I knew I wanted to get an undercut, but I wanted to wait till my hair got longer.
Yeah.
And once I got that bad buildup, I was like, I'm just gonna get the undercut now. And so I went
Like you did
ahead
it
and
on purpose.
so I was like, I'm just gonna cut these off and I'm just gonna get my undercut now. And then I had issues from getting the undercut.
Oh man, can we talk about that for a second? Because that undercut experience for me was traumatizing. How was it?
Yeah.
How was it for you? Do you still have it? Your undercut?
Yes, I still have it. It started
Okay.
out good. It was cute. I had all the little designs, the hearts for Valentine's Day and stuff. And I noticed that last row was starting to thin really bad. Like
Yeah.
I almost lost that back row. So I wound up having to let it grow out, let the hair grow out. And I'm gonna try and see if I could show you. I don't know if you could see, but it's like it's
It
thin
got
and
real
then it gets
thin.
thicker.
Yeah.
This is where I started to like grow my hair back out to incorporate it into the lock to make it back stronger.
Yeah.
So now
Undercuts.
I just do them myself now. I don't go to the barber anymore.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, that's what you got to do. I feel like it's not even the undercut. It is the barber and the undercut with locks. They just, for some reason, they don't go together.
They don't. It's like they want that perfect cut. And it's like, if somebody have locks, and especially if they don't have a fresh retwist, like you probably not gonna be able to always get that perfect cut.
Yeah. And it impacts the lock so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always yelling at somebody's barber, like, oh my goodness.
Yes. Yes.
So getting back kind of into this, into your journey, right? Jasmine, you said that you had a lot of self-discovery with the journey. Like, what was one of the biggest realizations that came to you on the journey with locks?
One of the biggest realizations I would say one of them are people can be quite shallow. People can be
Mhm.
very shallow. It is a difference between how I was treated when I had shorter locks, a shorter natural, and the way I get treated now. Like
Mm.
it's it's a difference, and it's a lot of it is me having to tell myself, like, basically I'm beautiful either way.
Yeah. You are. And like, could you tell us about that experience? Like, how do you perceive people viewing you or seeing you now versus when your locks were kind of synonymous with loose natural hair, essentially?
Yeah. So I when I first started my locks, I was single at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember FaceTiming with someone and him just straight up being like, "Are you going to get extensions?" Like,
Oh, wow.
and I was like, "Do you know how much a good set of lock extensions cost?"
That's a
Are you,
mortgage right there.
I was like, "Are you willing to pay for that?" And it would just, and it's like now, since my hair is longer, it's like, "Oh, queen, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, all of this." And it's like, I have the same face that I've
Mm,
had
Yeah.
speak on it,
for
okay?
33 years. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, that is it's the lengthism. Is that what it is? Something when
Yes.
it comes in the journey, like that is a thing for real. Miss
Yes.
Deborah, have you had any like negative experiences along your lock journey?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I love that.
And the reason being is that I've always been the type of person who embraced my identity
Hmm.
and embraced who I am as a Black woman. So I started back in the late 60s, early 70s with a natural, which was unheard of back then.
Right?
So, people had a lot to say back then, and I would just cut them off. This is my hair. I am not going to keep putting chemicals in my head because, you want me to identify with the European way of looking. No, I'm not going to do it. So people that know me, that have been around me for any length of time, they know me. They know what I represent, and they know not to say. If they may have thought it, they never would say it
They
to
not
me.
gonna speak on it.
No way. You don't have that right. I don't allow you to get to speak on something concerning me that you have nothing
Mhm.
to do with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I haven't had any negative. Even at work, they knew not to say anything because I went from a natural to real short. Like I cut my hair like almost all the way off, and I wore it
Yeah.
like that for years. So I'm sure they had wanted to say something about my hair being so short, but it's hair. It'll grow if I want it to grow, and if I want it short, that's how I'm gonna wear it. I just didn't allow people to have that kind of say in my life. No.
Where do you feel like you got that confidence, courageous, like to have that? Because I feel like, especially with the natural hair movement that's happened, with the boom and people experiencing locks and the stereotypes that come with locks, to have the audacity for the people to have the audacity to talk to you down about your hair, But I feel like a lot of times people have this trauma with their hair, so they're already speaking negative about themselves. But you're just like, do you feel like you got it as a child from your parents, from?
No, I grew up during the movement, the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
I'm Black and I'm proud, and I hung
Mhm.
on to that,
Yeah.
and I kept that throughout my life. I've always embraced my culture. I'm not ashamed of my culture. And whether I wear my hair short, whether I wear my hair long, I'm Black and I'm beautiful.
I
If you
love
don't,
that.
if you have a problem with that, that's your problem.
That's
It's
your
not,
problem.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Jasmine, do you feel like I'm assuming you and I were the same age. Do you feel like we have this like with people embracing locks right now and the natural hair movement we saw like around 2009, do you feel like we as a community, or even you yourself, do you feel empowered when you started your locks and like just to when they were really short and people were saying things like get extensions? Did you feel empowered to shut them down, or did you have to do some like self-reflection?
With that, I was ready to cut them off. Like, even if I remember one time my sister was like, I can't believe you did that to your hair. And I just kind of ignored her because I was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, your hair's so long. Oh, it's cute. Oh, you style it. But I had to have that attitude of, this is what I want to do. And I mean, if you don't like it, you don't have to wear it.
Yeah.
Like this, and it was like I went into it knowing it would be my journey and my journey alone, and I wasn't gonna stop it for anybody.
I mean, knowing your why, knowing why you started, I definitely tell people that's really important to start with. And then to hear you say that your sister, even your sister, people you're dating, like had things to say negative about you. Ms. Deborah said coworkers may try to talk to you and you're like, no, but it's like all the chatter, all the noise that comes about along the journey with locks, in addition to social media and mainstream media having voices. Like, how do you stay true to yourself? Like, how do you stay on this journey and stay true to um, maintaining your natural hair, your natural locks, and staying confident in that? Like, how do you keep that vision?
I just keep it because I just remember, just like when I did have a perm and I would wear weave and stuff like that. I remember the like shame. I don't know if I want to say shame or like just the dread of like, okay, I took this weave out. Now I gotta wear my real hair. Um, Let me make sure it's like super together. It would just be like not feeling fully confident.
It's like an
And
anxiety almost.
yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I never want to feel that again
Mm.
about my hair.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what keeps me going. I don't have to feel that anxiety, that shame. It's how I show up is me. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And it's what it is. And it's like I said, I never want to feel that shame again. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah. I remember that too. My roots started growing out, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta wear it like that. People gonna see my natural hair, and I would be freaking out. And then it's like, oh, on the other side, it's so beautiful.
It
It's so
is.
beautiful.
Yes.
Deborah, we already know you blocking all the haters.
Okay, for
all
real.
the haters out
For
there.
real. I don't care what people say
Not at
because
all.
I believe that we each are perfectly made. Everything on us is perfect. We were intricately made, each one of us different, but beautiful. And I don't have to look like you. You don't have to look like me. And I certainly don't have to cover up what God gave me.
Mm-hmm.
The curly kink, I'm not covering it up. You know what I mean? The skin color, my skin color, my hips, none of that. God made me like this. So
Yeah.
hey,
We needed to hear that. I was
Yes.
just about to ask you what advice you had, but that is it. Like
that's it.
how can we not be on this journey with our natural hair and find ways to love ourselves and embrace ourselves and appreciate ourselves? I just feel like it comes with the territory.
Whenever I see somebody, Jocelyn, with locks, I make sure I tell them how beautiful their hair is, because I don't know what their journey is like or what they may be hearing.
Yeah.
And especially young people, for me, because and young women, because I'm sure that, they're coming out of weave or whatever they're coming out of. And I want them to know you are beautiful.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Definitely have to empower the community around us.
Yes.
Jasmine, if you could give advice to somebody that has family around them that's maybe speaking negative about their hair, or they're feeling down about their hair and they're interested in starting locks, wanting to go on the journey, like what words of advice would you give to that person?
I would say, like, and I get, especially younger people, especially when I go to the beauty supply, they always asking me about my hair.
Where you buy that from?
And I always just say, just do it. Locks are not an end all be all. Just try it. If you don't like it, you could comb it out or keep it and just see what happens. You never know. You never know. And it's no wonder about, how I'm going to look or whatever. Like, I like to always say, you have the same face, regardless, and if your family is not liking it or they have something to say, just simply ignore them. And please believe, when you come through with, and you got your retwist, or you got your rod set going or whatever, then they're gonna be like, "Oh, that look nice. That
How
look
you do that,
nice."
right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so true. It's so true. All of the women that I have had the honor of serving in my chair that started the journey with family members telling them, why would you do that? Why would you lock your hair? People can thinking like, why would I get locks before my wedding? They have all started their locks in spite of the negativity. And every single one of them, their family is like, oh my gosh, I love your hair. Ooh, I want to get locks now. So it's just like, you're so right. You and Miss Deborah are so right. Just go for it. Block out what everyone else has to say. Begin to fall in love with yourself and your hair.
Yes.
Well, I thank you both so much for sharing your experience and your wisdom on this podcast episode. I know that somebody needed to hear exactly what you had to share today. Is there any way that they can connect with you beyond the episode? Are you on social media at all?
I'm on Facebook.
You on Facebook?
Okay. Yeah, Deborah Cunningham on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, you can find Miss Deborah on Facebook.
Yeah, I'd be glad to encourage anybody. Yeah.
I'm on Instagram. Shonta SHONTA_Sweetie SWEETIE. I don't post often, but I probably need to start posting more often.
To show your beautiful face, show your journey with the world. Absolutely. Like you all both started the journey with that inspiration from social media. So we all know representation matters. So every now and then, just snap a little picture, a little life check. Let us know how it's going.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Truly appreciate you. Of course. And with that, thank you all for joining me on another episode of the Digital Loctician Podcast. Truly hope this was an episode that inspired you to continue on your journey, or maybe to dive in and jump into the lock journey. It is so worth it. And if there's one thing that I learned from tonight is that you just got to block the haters out, okay? Just tunnel vision, enjoy your journey, enjoy your experience. And as always, I am wishing you peace, love, and good vibes. Next Thursday, 8 p.m., we have another amazing episode. Of course, you can head over to crownelements.com to grab your hair care products and enter the code DLP at checkout to get a little treat from me to you.